What's going on, guys? PepperBelly here, and you're probably wondering what it is you are currently seeing right now. Well, this is the new virtual reality world they released within the last 24 hours of the patch that comes with the new prologue campaign, as well as adding this whole virtual cool training environment. So, along with the addition of all these add-ons, they also revamped the fatigue system and changed it, and of course there's been a lot of debate on the forums. People basically talking about how it's incredibly unrealistic, how every soldier is insanely out of shape, and all those additional things that they want to talk about, saying that Bohemia has no idea what they're talking about, they're reducing the realism and all that kind of stuff, and they're just, being blatantly ignorant and not really understanding how reality is. Okay, so what I set up here is a common infantry range test, which, pretty much every infantry soldier that I know in the Canadian Forces pretty much has to go through. And I've gone through it, I've done it, I've qualified marksman on it, and I'm here to basically talk about how it reflects in this game. So how it portrays with this new fatigue system. Is it accurate? Is it bullshit? That kind of stuff. Is it realistic? And basically, to just, too long to read, too long didn't read, yes, it is. So as you can see right here, I emptied a bunch of extra magazines, which I will not be using, because the PWT3 test, the way it works is you start in the prone, you're at the 400 meter mark, then you run, you got 45 seconds to run to the 300 meter mark, get in the prone, fire off 8 shots, and then after that you get up, run to the 200 meter, fire 6 shots from the crouching, or kneeling position, get up, run to the 100 meters, and fire an additional 6 shots from the prone. After of which, you get up again, you reload, you run to the 75 meters, fire 5 shots, run to the 50, fire 5 shots, and then run to the 25 and do automatic fire into both targets, back and forth, repeatedly until you expend basically all your ammo. So that's why I got rid of those, because I put in the exact amount of rounds you actually require to do it. It's the best out of 40. When you do this, you have to hit 40 rounds. So as you can see, I have 20 now. If I reload, I'll have two 10-round magazines and one 20-round magazine. Except I just put in the 20. But yeah, they're there. See, there you go, two 10-round magazines. And that's basically how it works, because that's just how it's set up. So I got rid of these just because I want to show you guys authentically how it's done, and show you the fatigue system and whether or not it's actually bad. So you can see the 2 targets way down there. Typically when you're firing down the range, you're actually moving up on this, doing the rundown, you shoot at 1 target. It is until you get to the 25 meter, 75 meters and closer, you're doing it from the standing. And until you get to the 25 meter, then you're firing at both targets. But traditionally you'd be firing usually at just the 1 up until that point. So we're going to go ahead and start. I'll remain quiet for most of this just to kind of illustrate in closing detail. So pretty much every single time you have 45 seconds in between. So technically you don't even have to sprint full out with your character in this, but just for the sake of showing you the fatigue system, I'm going to physically exert my character in game as much as possible. So by the time I get there, he should be technically insanely tired. And therefore his shots and sway should be ridiculous, because that's the main people are having problems with, is the fact that they're saying the sway is way too much and unrealistic. So let's go ahead and do it now. We'll start off the 400 meter and we'll make our way to the 300. Again, full out sprinting, pushing myself as much as I can. Sure is a beautiful day out today. Blocks. Weird square markers. Cool stuff. I also have meter markers actually. So you can see I'm approaching the 300, getting the prone. Here's my 8 shots, get up. Keep sprinting. And this is usually where most people would actually start to get really tired and their shots would be kind of ridiculously all over the place. Getting the crouching. You can see every single shot landed. Keep moving. 6 shots left. Once I get up here and prone, you fire the remaining 6 shots. Now we're at the 100 meters. Reload. Stand up. Typically at this point you'd actually just be walking casually. This is where I'm actually starting to push my character as much as I can. Starting to move to the 50 meters. Reload while moving to the 25 meter. And now I expended all my rounds. So as you can see, pretty much every single shot I fired out of 40 landed. And I didn't have very much trouble compensating for the recoil or the sway or anything. Which, to kind of put it in perspective, personally for me, what I did, by the time I got to the 200 meters in real life, I was, to be honest, completely fucking inaccurate. My sway was ridiculous. Probably because the position I was actually crouched in wasn't exactly as stable as I should have done. Reflecting on it at the point of doing it, I realized I should have altered my stance a little bit to, you know, allow me to basically have a better position of hold, which the hold is basically the sway. So whenever I'm aiming down my sight, you can see the weapon sways naturally. That is the position of hold. And you never want to force it, although you can in this, which is kind of the point. You're kind of adjusting. Basically this would be forcing, you know, I'm moving my crosshair with the sway of the weapon to keep it on target, which in real life can alter your accuracy because it's actually possible that doing so can make your muscles flinch and react in different types of ways where you can actually pull your shot. And when you're like 200, 300 meters away, that actually matters a great deal. So ultimately, I think the fatigue system is actually fine the way it is. It's actually a lot more realistic than it was before, and considering I never actually really ran this test beforehand, I don't really know how it was before this to compare both fatigue systems, but as it stands right now, I can tell you that it's incredibly realistic, and anyone who wants to go ahead and argue that point probably has no idea what they're talking about. Because there's a lot of people obviously on the forums who are going to be those guys who are like, yeah, I own weapons, I shoot guns, I know what I'm talking about. It's like, no you don't. I don't mean to be that guy, but you really don't. You have no idea what you're talking about until you've actually literally gone in the field and done these range tests yourself with your own physical body, wearing a flak vest with a tack vest over top of it, with all your gear and your magazines and your rifle, and you actually do it, you will not know what the hell you're talking about. Because it's completely different being in a relaxed environment at a firing range wearing civilian clothing compared to wearing all this gear. It may not look like much, but trust me, it makes all the difference. And there's also those people who are making arguments about, you know, wearing rucksacks. Oh, like, I can't even run 50 meters with a rucksack. It's like, first of all, all three guys we're talking about actually, you know, they run, like, they go for long ruck marches. What is a march? A march isn't a sprint or a run. You're walking. You are walking. Okay? So, there's a big difference between fatigue levels being exerted while walking to while running. And it's kind of rare you'll see people sprinting full pin with a rucksack. It's entirely possible, because I've done it myself and I've seen other people do it. You can do it. It's not, like, impossible to do that. It's just, it's not exactly wise, because you need to learn, which is primarily what this fatigue system implements at this exact moment, is learning to manage your fatigue level, your current endurance that you have in the moment. Those things are crucial to your efficiency in the field. And as far as I'm concerned, this new update does it perfectly. So anyone who obviously wants to dispute that, like I said, doesn't really know what they're talking about. Unless you're some crazy physically, like, ridiculously in shape individual where you can sprint and shoot accurately while moving, okay, then, and only then, will I give you the benefit of the doubt in terms of what you think in this, you know, the game's performance or whatever in fatigue systems. Because obviously, like, you know, the average person cannot do that. Special Forces operators cannot do that. So, you know what I mean? You can't sprint tactical pace, which is basically this right here where you're doing urban clearing, you're in urban operations. This is the tactical pace, this is the walk. They actually made the walking a lot more efficient now, because this is what you would do in real life. You'd be walking and engaging targets, and you can actually do this pretty damn accurately, where this is more feasible and realistic than this. Sure, this is realistic, no doubt, because I've done it myself. But actually landing shots completely accurately while doing this is not exactly ideal. I mean, maybe up to 25 to 50 meters if you're really skilled and know how to hold your shot well while moving like this, but generally, probably not. Generally, this is the ideal speed you want to be moving at. You look at anybody doing gunfighter techniques and stuff, this is the speed they'll be walking at, doing tactical reloads, speed reloads, engaging targets from cover, leaning out, etc. So that's just my 2 cents on it, as it stands right now. But I will agree, because obviously this is one of the major issues with the game right now. It's the AI. The AI, the enemy AI, like, specifically, is terrible. They're, like, not terrible as in they don't know what they're doing, terrible as in they're stupidly accurate, to the point where having these sway systems and these fatigue systems really hampers your ability to take on the AI, because they're just like these crack shot, steroid junkie individuals who somehow know and are capable of engaging you with ridiculous accuracy at ranges that are just ridiculous while being shot. And I've encountered this many times where I'd be shooting them so many times, you watch them do the really shitty looking ridiculous flinch animation, and they shoot back with impeccable accuracy, and it's really annoying and unrealistic. So that is probably the most unrealistic part of the fatigue system, is the fact that they're all able to do things that we cannot. But as it goes for the player fatigue system and how it works right now, it's mind-blowingly realistic, and every single soldier right now is, I would say, is in pretty damn good physical condition. Their fitness level is pretty damn good, considering the fact that he ran all the way to 200. I was sprinting full on in this game. Because in real life, you have 45 seconds to do that. It's a leisurely pace to do those things. You can see as I'm running now, I'm starting to get fatigued. I can't sprint. I'm getting tired. It's because I've been going for quite some time. But this would be normal. You know, you're breathing, cardio level. I can understand why some of you would be saying that, you know, I've been walking and running in circles right now for quite some time. My character's actually starting to get tired. If I stop and zoom in, yeah, the sway's completely erratic. But I'm still able to engage targets. You know, I'm still able to shoot. You know, especially at this range right here. This is a completely, you know, position to hold is totally feasible to engage at. And then my cardio level's right back up. I can start sprinting again. So again, it's realistic. Anyone who thinks otherwise, I don't know. I don't know what to say to you, because, you know, from my personal experience, from all the soldiers I've served with to this day, I can tell you very much so that this is realistic, and Bohemia is making the right move going in this direction. Anyway, my name's PepperBelly. Thank you guys for joining me today. See you guys in the next one.